The reason I wanted to make this video is because if you have big plans for the year ahead, if you're feeling super motivated right now and you want to just crush it in every aspect of your life, once I changed my mindset, which happened a little while ago, and I'll explain that in a second, my whole world changed. And this year has been the best year of my life. So before I get into these tips, I guess you could call them, I wanted to give some context. So on June 5th, 2014, it was my 27th birthday, and I woke up that day and I had never experienced anything like this before, ever. I physically couldn't get out of bed because I was so sad. What was going on was one of the most influential people in my life, my noni, my grandma, had just passed away from Alzheimer's and dementia, and that's a really awful disease. I've lost 2 grandparents to that disease, and it is, if you know somebody who's dealt with it or you're dealing with it, it's really painful and it's really awful. And then my relationship of 2.5 years was coming to a just, again, very traumatic ending. And then my business was kind of dwindling, and I didn't know what to do with it. I was really ready to give up because it wasn't what I perceived to be successful at that time. And I just was defeated on all levels of my life. And we've all had these days, and much worse things have happened to people. But for me, this was kind of my pivotal moment where I needed to make a decision of what I was going to do. So I remember getting out of bed later in the day, and I didn't tell anybody about this. I'm, like I said, very private. So I got out of bed later in the day, and I pulled myself out of bed, and I looked at myself in the mirror, and I'd been crying all day. I just looked at myself in the mirror, and I'll never forget this, and I said, "You're never going to feel like this again. You need to take control back in your life." And that's when everything changed. Yes, there's hard days. Yes, there's still struggles. Yes, things happen that aren't great. But once I started doing these, I can deal with so much more now, because I feel totally at peace and in balance with everything in my life in here. So anything that happens out here, I have a much better time dealing with. So let's get into it. Every single night, I have this little journal that I write in, and I have made it a habit. I can't go a day without doing it. And even if if I'm not able to write it down, I just say it or I think it in my head. And all I write is, today I'm grateful for. And it could be even just little things. Sometimes it'll be, I'm grateful for a conversation I had with my dad on the phone. And on that same note, I also started in the mornings when I wake up, before I do anything else, the first thing that I do, and this is going to sound crazy, but the first thing that I do when I wake up in the morning is I just smile, because it sets the tone for the rest of the day. And even if I don't want to, I smile. And then instead of overwhelming myself with what I have to do, I think in my head, I can't believe I get to fill in the blank. Whether that's something you don't want to do, like go to the dentist, it's still kind of a privilege to be able to go to the dentist. There's a lot of people in the world who aren't able to do that. So I can't believe I get to go to the dentist today. I can't believe I get to go have a meeting with so-and-so. Because then it changes your mindset of like, oh, I have to do this, to, ooh, I get to do this today, and I'm so excited. The next thing is feelings. And one book that I highly recommend to everybody is The Firestarter Sessions by Danielle Laporte. It's all about recognizing your core desired feelings and creating goals with soul, as she says. Basically, on a day-to-day basis, some of my core desired feelings are I want to feel passionate, I want to feel empowered, I want to feel strong, I want to feel feminine, I want to feel creative. Those are things that make me feel happy and joyful and at peace with my life. So I try to recognize every opportunity that comes my way and say, okay, is that going to make me feel the way I want to feel? I kind of force myself to say yes to everything this year for the most part, and also to say I can instead of I can't first, because then that forced me to figure out a way to make it happen. And I've done some of the most difficult things I've ever done in my entire life in 1 year. And that includes speaking to government officials from the CIA and from NASA and from the Air Force and from NATO at NATO's headquarters in Belgium. That was the scariest thing ever, but I forced myself to say, yes, I can, and I figured it out, and it went really well. So instead of jumping to, oh no, that's never going to happen, I can't do it, ask yourself, why the hell not? When you start worrying about what other people think or what other people are doing, or the fact that there's so many other people in your industry who do the same thing as you and they're doing it better, you paralyze yourself. And it's really easy to compare and it's really easy to compete, but choose collaboration over competition and also just focus on your own stuff and stay in your own lane. That truly is the key to success. And it's been said over and over again, but focusing on your own stuff and creating that sense of solitude in your own work allows you to be the best at what you do. And nobody does what you do like you do. Period. End of story. You're the only you in the world. Next is resilience. And this is something, again, that I think takes practice, and it comes along with taking a lot of risks and allowing yourself to go way outside your comfort zone. Because the moment you do that, yes, there's more opportunity for failure, but you also train yourself to fail better. And I know that sounds really weird, but not everything's going to be perfect. Not everything's going to go your way, but at least when you try and maybe it doesn't go your way, it creates this sense of resilience in you that's super strong, and you're able to bounce back from things so much quicker than if you don't try at all. One of the things I always say to myself when something goes wrong is, did anybody die? No? Okay, then we're good. Another big thing for me was just trusting more, and of course still being smart and trusting those instincts, and that's part of this. Like I said, something doesn't feel right. If a person comes into your life and you're like, oh, they look good and sound good, but something's not sitting well with you, listen to that, because it's usually always right. But also just trusting that there's something bigger than you that is working in your favor, and when an opportunity comes your way, don't automatically assume that people want you to fail, because generally people are good and people want you to succeed. So trust that the universe has your back and trust that things are working in your favor. One of the biggest lessons came from a really great book, another book recommendation. It's called The Four Agreements. I read it a long time ago, but I read it continuously and over again, because it's just an incredible book for your mindset and just for your whole life. And one of the agreements is don't take anything personally. So hard to do, but it makes such a big difference in your day-to-day life when someone maybe says something to you that's a backhanded compliment or that isn't the nicest. You realize that they probably got their own stuff going on, and don't take it personally. And again, it allows you to be a little more resilient and bounce back from situations faster rather than dwelling on what did they mean by that. And I wonder if they're talking about this with other people. Just understand that it's not personal. And your ego is the one that tells you that it's something personal or that they're trying to take a dig at you, and your ego gets really defensive. If you don't love yourself, it makes it really hard for other people to love yourself, and if you don't believe in yourself, it makes it really hard for other people to buy in and to believe in what you do and what you're about. So a few of the things that I've gotten into the habit of doing are, I'll say I am, and then I say I will. So I am is focused on my strengths and things that I know I'm really good at and things that I know to be true of myself. And then the I will is things that maybe are not my strengths right now, but can become strengths. And that's working on my weaknesses. When I start to have really negative self-talk and I'm like, oh, you're an idiot for doing this or whatever, you just change that to say, that's interesting. I wonder why I did that. And look at it sort of from a different perspective. Instead of beating yourself up, look at it and just kind of examine why you chose to react that way or why you chose to think that way. So those are the tips and the tricks and the things that I implemented in my life to really change my world and have the best year of my life, truly the best year of my life. And a big part of that is you guys. I started this channel in March, and I truly cannot believe how it's gone and the community that I've built here, and I'm just so grateful, and it means so much to me. All of the nice comments and all the conversations I get to have with you guys, it just means the world. So thank you. If you guys like this video, hit the like button below, share it with your friends, and be sure to subscribe. And I do share exclusive little tidbits in emails every week, so if you want to get in on those emails, you can sign up for those below this video as well. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys found this helpful, and I can't wait to see you guys in 2016. Have an amazing, amazing holiday season, and spend lots of time with your loved ones. Love you guys.